Welcome back! Today we chat with Olivia Graphic, a super talented graphic artist. If you follow her, you know her cinematic meets punk style is instantly recognizable, whether she's designing posters, merch, or even a food truck wrap. In this episode, we discussed her creative journey, starting with her early interest in drawing as a kid, where she found a website with step-by-step instructions to follow. She then studied graphic design in college and discussed the phase after graduation of finding her personal style, which has evolved into the work she creates today. Olivia also talks about how a chain reaction kicked off when she was noticed by Rico Nasty. She designed a poster for her song Black Punk, which led to dozens of projects for other artists. She also gave insight into working as an artist and handling client projects, from idea conception to the overall workflow leading up to the finished project. It was so cool to chat with Olivia and learn about her journey on how she developed her distinct style. So without further ado, let's chat with Olivia.
When you were a kid or when you were younger, where did your creative journey start?
I can think back far enough. Funny enough, my mom used to tell me that I hated coloring in elementary school and stuff because I thought it was so boring. But when I was a little older, I would start drawing because I didn't really have much else to do around the house. I was the only kid and we lived in an apartment, so I didn't have neighborhood friends or anything. So I would just stay at home and watch movies or something, watch cartoons. And I would just start drawing, and then I found this website where you're talking step-by-step drawings. Mm-hmm. I think it's still up because every once in a while I'll go back and try to find the drawings I used to do. But I did that, and then I guess fast forward to high school when everyone's trying to figure out what they want to do after school or for college. And my mom was like, well, maybe you should try to do animation because, you draw all the time. It might be cool for you to learn that. And so I was like, okay. I just went with what she said because I didn't really know it.
Really sounds great.
It was cool. Sounds great. My mom knows best. But so once I got to college, I took one animation class. Wasn't right for me. I'm the person that I like a one and done piece of art. So in animation, you have to draw stuff over and over and over again. Yeah. And that was not fun for me. And we did different mediums. We did clay, we did stop motion, and the programs we were using, it was just too hard.
Talk about tedious. Stop motion is just
very tedious. I had other people in the class with me that were really talented, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna not try to match them and it's very competitive too from when I first with animation and trying to get a job. And I would come to lab sometimes and see the higher level animation students. They would be stressing over their projects. They would be in there 24 hours. So I was like, I don't want to do this. So I just went to graphic design as my major because they had some illustrative courses where I can, learn figure drawing, learn basic illustration, character design, basic things like that. So I feel with college, I just was trying to find what kind of art I wanted to do because I still didn't know. So a lot of the work I was doing in college was just learning. I was learning figure drawing, how to use the Adobe programs to design posters or logos or anything like that. So after college, I feel my portfolio wasn't that great. It was just school things.
Projects. Get you excited.
Get me started.
Yeah.
But actually met a couple of people during graphic design that I'm still friends with, and I'm grateful for that. I'm glad I went to college for that. But I just feel I didn't really learn much. And a lot of my work I do now, I learned outside of college. So once I was done with college, I would start looking up YouTube videos of things that I saw online that were really cool that I didn't learn in school, and I would just learn techniques that way. Started doing like posters or like fake merch design. So I guess that's where like it started really where I found my footing, I guess, in design. And I don't draw as much anymore, which is crazy, but I would like to, cause I would like to like expand like my toolkit, I guess. But yeah, that was pretty much just what got the juices flowing, I guess.
That was great. Yeah. So like when you were first starting like those fake merch designs or like posters and stuff, like what was the subject matter? Like what was like you like can you remember something where you were like, okay, like this is tapping into something I want to do more of?
Yeah, I guess horror would be the main one. I feel like a lot of the designs I started with wasn't horror. It was just like movies that I enjoyed because I started becoming a movie girly. So it was a lot of like action movies or like Uncut Gems is one that I feel like kind of popped off a little bit when I first started like posting my work to Instagram. But I feel like horror is like a main one because a lot of my inspiration comes from like old like newspaper, like movie ads or like Showtime ads. And back in the day, because I really like the layouts and just like the texture of it, I guess. It's just really cool.
Yeah.
See, like kind of replicate and like learn how to make it look that way. So I feel like it's a lot better than current stuff I see. And so, yeah, people like it too. So I'm just like, well, people like it. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I was super into horror movies when I was younger, and now I'm like, I can't do it.
Oh.
I'm too soft.
Can be a lot.
So you like pull your inspiration from like movies, like do you like look at the covers or do you find stuff online or like how do you find your inspiration for different things?
Um, yeah, usually, like, if I watch a movie and I'm really, like, into it, I'll kind of use, like, the style of the movie, I guess, like, the colors or maybe just, like, the genre. Like, if it's a sci-fi, I'll try to find, like, sci-fi posters and try to mimic some things and, like, collage it in a way. But most of it, I feel like it's the same. Like for every genre, I just like the collage look because I feel like you can take all the characters and like put them together, like Frankenstein it a little bit. I think it's the process I like the most is just like finding things, putting them together, and then kind of figuring out the like colors after that. But usually, I don't really use the movie of a lot just for like basing like.
Yeah, that's cool. And just like make it your own,
Yeah.
which is cool. Like I think taking like inspiration from movie and using different elements to like make it one image is something you're really good at and like adding your spin to it. Like if I'm scrolling and I just see something pop up of yours, I'm like stop and I could just tell it's yours like right away. Like you have such a distinct style. So like how I think like part of being an artist and like being creative and like when you finished school like you had stuff that was a portfolio but maybe it wasn't like super like how did you get into like refining your style because I feel like it is really distinct.
Yeah.
Like how did you go through that process over time? Like
I guess it's just a lot of like mimicking things that I like to see. Like there's a ton of artists online. I couldn't give you a name, but there's a lot of artists I admire online that maybe didn't go to school, maybe they did, but just a lot of online people that I follow. I'll be like, oh, I like their work a lot. Let me see if I can try that. I like this style. Let me see if I can try that. Because a lot of my, like even drawings, I would just mimic the photos I would see. Because I didn't know how to like, I wasn't. So I guess a lot of what I did was just mimicking posts that I see. And so that was something I struggled with was finding my style, even with drawing. But with design, there's just, I like everything, so I'm going to do everything. But I guess fine tuning it. There's a lot of like, hey, what are people liking the most? What's getting a lot of like interactions?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are people saying about it? And then what am I comfortable with? And what's like a style that I can do quickly? Or yeah, just basically a lot of feedback from other people is mostly how I figured out like, okay, this is me. This is what people notice is me.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like you said, like if you see a post of mine, you'll know it's mine because there's certain like pieces that you can tell maybe I did it.
Yeah.
But
That's cool, because like some creatives, like it's hard to take feedback when it's something that you really care about, or you feel like you're like putting like a piece of your heart into it. So the fact that you really like utilize people's feedback and like take from that is really cool. So like what was the first like job you had after, or like project you worked on like for a client after school that kind of like saw the vision, was like, I want you to do that for me? Because you've worked like with some really cool and like just kind of like, I don't want to say random because it all makes sense, but it's like just like some local, some not. Like, how did you navigate working with clients as an artist?
sometimes a lot of people they find me, which is crazy. Something I'm glad I did was like I'll always tag like if I do a movie poster, I'll tag a director. If I do a music like poster or like fake merch design, I'll tag the artist. And that's how a lot of people find me. And I had some like art directors contact me like, hey, like they actually really like this work. Like, would you like to work with us? And I'm like, yes, because this would be cool. But I can't remember like I guess the first like major project was with Rico Nasty because I did like a poster for her song Black Punk. And she saw it, liked it, shared it, and then her creative director reached out to me, and then that's how the chain reaction went with that. It's just like just word of mouth and like connecting with people and people sharing stuff of mine. It's just how I got a lot of work. And locally, same thing. People I work with recommend me. Friends recommend me or local commissioning. Just spreads like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think like some of the stuff you do like for music, and like I think it just makes so much sense like stylistically, and it's just so cool to see what you put out, and just like that's awesome. Like definitely very inspiring. Um what are you like excited about and like looking forward to, like whether it be like future projects or something you like want to learn more, get into more, creatively?
So actually got like a project currently where I'm designing like the Blu-ray slipcover, and that's something I've never done.
What is a Blu-ray slipcover?
So like Blu-ray DVDs.
Oh, geez.
Yes. So there are some shops online. Um, they'll re-release movies and then have like a special edition case for it. And there's one major one called Vinegar Syndrome. And I'm sure they do a lot of genres, but the main one I've seen, because I've bought some, is like the horror movies. Like a lot of like maybe independent or like niche ones that aren't as popular. But they'll hire artists to do those special edition slip covers and like maybe illustrators, designers. So I was asked to do maybe or one for a movie that came out recently, and so I'm trying to figure that out because it's the whole template and then doing the front bag. So I'm excited. I don't know like what they'll think of it because it's like the first time I'm ever doing a Blu-ray cover.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's really awesome. Like, especially if you're like inspired by movies and like that's kind of how you started finding your style. Like, that's so for full circle to do something like that. That's so cool. Um, and like, how long does it usually take you to do something? Like, is it all over the place, or where do you like get started if it's for like a client? Like, do you send like a mood board, or do you give yourself a mood board? Like,
I'll do both. If I'm really inspired by something, like with my own work, I'll just do it, knock it out, and
to
then
it, yeah.
because I like to stay up late and like work on stuff. So I'm like in the zone. I gotta get my ideas out. But usually they'll send me a mood board of like ideas, and then I'll add like some of my stuff that makes it my style to it. Um, yeah, usually they'll send me some like inspiration. Usually they'll send stuff that like I've seen before, like that I'm inspired by too. So it usually works out.
That's
way.
yeah. And then like from there, like does it just depends like how long it takes you, or do you usually like work on it step by step, or do you just say, okay, I'm gonna work on it tonight, and then you just bang it out?
Yeah, pretty much. I just go in. Things that do help me is the mood board, but also just finding the images, because sometimes, like, I can't go take the photos for the designs, and I'm not that good of an artist to like usually draw stuff. So usually I'll try to find like the images first and see what I can work with. If the images aren't like good enough quality, I can't use it, and then just a lot of image finding, and then like figuring out like source material. Like if I'm designing for a movie, I got to watch the sequence, and now that way I fit the vibe of the movie with the design. So it is kind of what it is, but also not, because once I do find those images, then I just go in and start like arranging things. Like I don't really sketch. I never really sketched before. I just thought it was like a waste of time.
You're like, I'm just gonna get right in.
Just go in, start it, and then I'll make changes if I have to.
What do you design with?
I use Adobe. I use Photoshop a lot.
Photoshop. Okay. Yeah, because I know some people use like Illustrator, and I use Photoshop mostly too, just because like when I was younger and like learning like, oh, what do I use? It was just like, oh, there's Photoshop. I don't even know what the other ones are, and then I just never deviated from there. So yeah. And like font, do you do stuff like do you do all the text and stuff too, right?
Yeah, it's usually just Adobe fonts, or if I do something crazy, I will use Illustrator to like draw it out and like edit the text a little bit. But usually it's just like fonts that come with the program.
Okay.
That I think is.
And that does the job usually. Yeah, I was recently working on something, and like I usually just use like font for my own stuff, and then I like sometimes do graphic design for other people. I'm just like, man, you could spend so much time just like looking for the right fonts that like call to the project. So and like when you usually do stuff, like do you usually do like different iterations, or do you usually stick with like one thing?
I guess it depends on how like detail I go in with the design. Like sometimes I'll have a couple variations, but usually I just do one that I think I'm just like, I think this is it, and then if there's any changes, then I can change it. But I guess starting out, I'll usually do one, and then if there's edits, there'll be another, or maybe a couple. But very rarely I'll have like multiple that they can pick from, because I kind of don't want to give them too many options, because then it's like, I don't know, I guess you gotta like nitpick and like put together different pieces, and it's just too much for me. I'm a little bit lazy. So I just like to just do one and then edit it as I go. Unless I really need to see like a couple variations. It might cut the time out, but I just don't like to start off with too much.
That's honestly really good. Like it sounds like, okay, you're saying you're being lazy, but it sounds like you're very decisive And like, I'm not like that. I usually just like sometimes go nuts. But I think that's good because if you're sending to someone and there's too many options, then it's like you get into analysis paralysis where it's like, I'm overloaded. So like that's probably helpful in the long run that it's like, here's what I think is the best. And like, you hired me to do this. So I know what's going to look good, which is cool.
Yeah.
And like when you get contacted for work, like do you make sure that the vibe fits you as well? Like do you ever have someone reach or just like I don't know if this is going to be a good fit or how do you go through that? Like
I usually have accepted a lot of work, and it's mostly because I'm like, well, this is kind of my job. I kind of need the money, so I'll do it for them and like try to fit it best I can. And they've always been like happy with it. But there are some projects that I get where I'm like, I don't really want to work on this anymore. It's not really fun for me.
yeah.
But I guess once like my clients pick up, then I'll be more selected. Like, okay, is this something I want to do? Is this like my style? Do I want to like put it in my portfolio? So there's a lot of work I do that I don't put in my portfolio because I'm like, is not me.
Yeah, not what you want to advertise. And you do like personal projects and stuff too. Like, how do you balance doing personal projects and client projects? Or do you have any other like creative outlets that you look to now that you do this as your job?
Yeah. I guess technically it's not my full-time job, but I'm trying to get there. But I rarely have a lot of time now because it's for some reasons like this summer has just been like blowing up. I'm getting projects left and right, which is really good.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah, I just try to do personal work when I have the time, uh, or when I feel inspired to. I don't want to just do stuff if I'm not like inspired or like have anything in mind, because then I'll just sit at the computer for too long and just be like, well, I'm in art block now. I don't know what to do. So I usually just wait until like maybe I see a movie and I'm like, oh, I really love this movie. I'm gonna make a poster
Yeah.
if I have the time. But there's a lot of stuff where I've had ideas for and I just never got to it because I've been busy with other projects. It was good, but yeah, still trying to find out that balance of work and like my personal work because there are other like I want to get back into drawing again and I haven't had the time for that, so I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah, having the balance is definitely ebbs and flows. Like even when you're like, okay, this is a good groove, and then there's certain times when it's just like there's a lot going on, then it's like you just get off balance and you just got to get back on it again. But um, yeah, I mean that's super cool, and I'm just so excited to see the next things that you put out and like. I'm a huge fan, so it's so cool to like and like also a lot of my friends or just like myself, like I did one school of art, but it's always cool to talk to someone who like did go to school for it. And I think sometimes like the people who do go to school, they're like, well, that's not really what I want to do. And you were able to pivot and find your style and keep learning afterwards. And like, seems like you're still trying to add more things to like just keep leveling up, that there's not like one route you need to go. Like, you go to school for it and like you don't need to do something really corporate or like be like an in house designer. Like, you could still work for yourself and like you put things out there in your own style and like that's the things that are coming back to you. So I think that's just so cool and inspiring. Hell yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I always get imposter syndrome sometimes because I'm just like, man, I'm not there yet. I haven't made it yet, but it always feels good to know that people are like appreciating my work and like enjoying what I do because I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And I know my husband's a huge fan as well. And like I know he had something going on today, but he would have liked to be here because he's like, I'm such a fan. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, it's always weird to me sometimes when people say that, 'cause I feel like a celebrity, just a little bit. Actually, someone came up to me at like a festival, I think it was Bonner, and they're like, "You Olivia Graphic," and I was like, "This is weird. This is so weird." But
Yeah, and like it's such a small world too. Like just like especially with the internet, you think, "Oh, I'm just this person that lives in this place doing these things." And it's like, no, so many eyes are on it from all over just because you're putting stuff out there. And I think you're really good about putting stuff out there and like being consistent. And I think that seems like it's played a big part in like the projects that have come to you. So consistency is key, and I think you're doing such a great job at. But yeah.
That was Olivia Graphic, a creative graphic artist sharing the stories behind her creative journey on how I created this.